Bunzerelly Show.
All right, this is the Bunzerelly Show. Time we give DC some love. We got Wonderwoman coming out in June of this year. After that, we got the Justice League, long-awaited movie coming out in November 2017, this November. I like the fact that they're kind of going at it like these guys are already going and they've already been superheroes. You know, they're kind of like backtracking with Wonder Woman, but I kind of like, you know, they showed us, I watched Suicide Squad, and I liked it because it showed like a lot of these guys are just kind of already at it. You know what I mean? They're not going to give us the origin story for everybody. They might backtrack them, but it's like these guys are here. They're all getting together. I really like Aquaman. I mean, that's a triumph right there to sell that guy off as being badass. And he's like the baddest ass looking guy of all of them.
No, I'm excited for Aquaman. I think Jason Momoa, from what I've seen in the trailers, I think he's going to kill it. I think he's probably going to be like the star of the movie. I think he's going to be the one who steals the show because just the way like they're approaching him is he's like a drunk fisherman.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the first two trailers, like he's got that one where the water's splashing over him. He's drinking like straight from the bottle. And then the new trailer came out and he saves some fisherman. He busts into the bar, throws the guy on the table, grabs a bottle of like liquor, and like it's on him, and walks out. And I was like Aquaman's a drunken like sea pirate or something. It's awesome.
I like how he's giving Batman the business the whole movie too. He's like, bat suit, huh? I like it.
Yeah, that ending trailer is awesome because it gives you your first look at Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah,
and I think he looks really good. Mm-hmm. And I just think that whole dialogue is like, oh, it's good to see you playing with others. So, like, you can tell there's definitely, like, some years that are really missing from just, like, in the DC universe.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, you get the Suicide Squad and you see, like, you saw that, like, they have the Robin suit and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, you know, like, something really bad happened.
Yeah.
So, like, that dialogue to come up in Justice League where he's like, oh, it's nice to see you playing well with others again.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of cool to see it all like coming together. I'm hoping the solo Batman movie will touch on some of those things, like what happens to Robin.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would like.
Let's backtrack talking about these established characters and where we're at. We haven't got a chance to talk about a lot of stuff. The first thing, I feel like I know how you're going to feel about the two things, but what did you think about the new Joker? Jared Leto. What'd you think of him?
I mean, I thought he was okay. Like, for what he portrayed, he didn't play the Joker that everyone like knows and loves. He wasn't like crazy as in like, oh, I'm gonna go after Batman. He was like, it was like a love story in like the Suicide Squad. It was like him and Harley.
Yeah.
And like that's all he wanted. And like I thought it was cool. I don't really care about the whole tattoos and everything. You know, I could go without it if they did something different.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be kind of interested to see what they do if they do introduce, you know, him into like the solo Batman movie.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, to be honest, my favorite Joker of last year, or even it's this year, is Zach Galifianakis in Lego Batman.
I have not seen that yet, but I need to.
If you haven't seen it yet, plays an awesome like animated Joker. It's hilarious.
I'll check it out. I'll check it out. So. Yeah, I looked at him and I was like, okay, it's a different approach because you can't just try to recreate Heath Ledger because that was just genius. It seemed a little more, seemed a little more organized, like crazy, but as far as like more of like a gangster kingpin, but it was passable. I think the thing that wasn't, and I got a feeling you're going to feel the same way as me, but I'm not sure. Going back to Batman, Superman, you know, and that thing got mixed reviews, mixed reception. I thought a lot of it was good enough. I think what really, I don't know if it's what killed the movie, but it was really, I think, who was it? I think Lex Luthor was a bit of a letdown. I think he was trying to channel the Joker. It just seemed like he wasn't Lex Luthor. I understand like you could argue about the different Jokers kind of all going at their different angles. You know, one of them is going to be the sociopath, one of them's a psychopath, one of them's a gangster kingpin. But I didn't feel where this Lex Luthor was coming from. Do you know what I'm saying? He just seemed like, it seemed like over and over again in the movie, he would just say he said the same thing all over again. He goes, he's talking to the senator. He goes, you know what happens when you put a turtle in a lobster tank? And then later on in the movie, he's like, you know what happens when there's too many feathers in a pillow? Like, what the hell? Are you the Riddler, dude? You know what I'm saying? Did you catch that same drift out of it? He was just it got to a point where he was really just annoying me.
I like to think I liked Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up watching Smallville. Like that is like really like the be all for me for like character building for Superman.
Yeah, I think me too.
And the guy who plays Lex Luthor on that was phenomenal.
Yes.
I think like Jesse Eisenberg like downfall for is I think he's a younger Lex Luthor.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's not old enough to be like the Lex Luthor like who's like the super genius, who really hates Superman. I think they could build to that point.
True.
But yeah, he did have some interesting quirks in the Batman vs Superman movie that I thought were interesting.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely had that like bad side though, you kidnap, Superman's mom, you got pictures of her, you definitely played into the head of why Superman hates you and why you hate Superman.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's true.
So I think it'll be interesting to see. I know there's not a lot of talks about him showing up in Justice League or even Wonder Woman. Now, my theory, you watched both trailers.
Yes.
And if you watch Wonder Woman, it looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're really embracing her character. And I think they're making a really good film.
Yeah, that one looks awesome.
But then you watch the new Justice League trailer, and it's all about, Bruce Wayne's putting together the team because he knows something's coming. And then in the newest trailer, they have, Diana, she's like, oh, well, it's already here.
Yeah.
So I think what's going to end up happening is I think Wonder Woman's movie, the villain or the setup villain is going to fall into Justice League.
You think so?
I think that's my theory right now is because Wonder Woman is going to come out beforehand
mm-hmm.
in June, and then Justice League's going to follow in November. So I think somewhere like her villain, kind of like how Marvel did with like the Infinity Stones, like every movie kind of ends with like, oh, here's an Infinity Stone. Mm-hmm. I think her movie's probably going to end and set up the Justice League like what is coming that brings them all together.
Okay, so we've seen in the Justice League trailer, we've seen Amy Adams. They've been pretty cool about not blowing Superman's involvement, and I even kind of questioned if they were building up to it. But first of all, it's mm-hmm. Justice League. You can't do it without Superman. I'm kind of glad they're not showing us as of yet. They might. What I'm worried about is if the box office opens up a little weak, they might get desperate and pull out the Superman scene, or they might just do it just to get that second wave. But right now, I'm glad that, as far as I know, I have no idea what Superman's involvement is. The only thing that gives it away is in IMDb, they have Henry Cavill listed in the cast for Justice League. But I like that they're not really pointing you at what's going to happen with him. But the fact that Amy Adams is in it,
I think it's interesting because I think Amy Adams in it, and I think Martha's in it too.
Yep, Diane Lane, Martha Kent.
Yeah, I think she's in it. Now, my biggest thing is, so far, if you've watched both trailers of Justice League, they've shown a good amount of the movie. Like, I think the second one's nice because you see Bruce, and he's on a horse, and it kind of gives you some of those scenes that take you back to Christopher Nolan's
mm-hmm.
Batman, where he's at with Ra's al Ghul, and they're fighting in the mountains, and it kind of gives you that scenery.
Yeah, that feel, yeah.
So far, I don't know what Superman involvement's going to be. So far, you've seen a couple of fight scenes. You've seen the team assembled, and you have not seen anything that has to do with Superman. So maybe he's going to be like not involved in this Justice League movie, and maybe he comes up at the end like, oh, look, Superman's back. I know there has been some footage and some pictures of Henry Cavill in the black uniform, in the black suit. So mm-hmm. I think they're going that route.
Yeah.
With him being like reborn, the long hair, just straight out of the comic type thing. So it'll be interesting to see where he does throw in. I know it is a Justice League movie and you can't do Justice League without Superman, but I think they could pull off a Justice League movie without him.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't think so either.
And like I said, I think Aquaman is going to steal the whole thing. They're introducing like Atlantis, all underwater stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You got, the Aquaman movie, but in Justice League, supposedly his like main nemesis is in the movie also. So it'll be interesting to like see how they entwine all that.
Oh, Aquaman's nemesis. Okay. I really like the current Superman and the way he was portrayed. And I thought Man of Steel was awesome. I think DC just has, between DC and Marvel, most of their characters are pretty much basically kept the same look, the same story, the same feel. And I think DC has always just struggled with, they've got a little bit of a cornier looking group of characters. And what I mean by that is if you go back to like the Super Friends cartoon, you know what I mean? And you go back to your orange suit Aquaman and your smiling Superman. So how do you bring all these guys together in Batman's world? And I really think that little almost monochromatic, that grayish tone, it sells these characters. Because I'm really psyched for this movie. It looks, and it's still got the little bit of the humor, kind of like Avengers. You got to have that mix, but it's really, like whoever would have thought you could sell Wonder Woman and especially Aquaman off as like badasses. And they're both just like, they're almost both showing up Batman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the newest trailer for Justice League, it kind of scene where it's like all Batman for a minute, where he comes like flying in, he's put a couple of things, and then it is a lot of Batman in the trailer. But I think it looks good. I think Wonder Woman looks really good at working with Bruce, which gives me another reason why like Superman is, I think, kind of taking the back seat to the movie. It's because it's majority Justice League led by Bruce Wayne and Wonder Woman, because Superman's dead.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that works really well. It does have a little bit of humor into it. Cyborg and the Flash, I think they'll be minor characters.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for Flash, though. He does seem like a cool Flash.
Yeah, Flash has got
Ezra
that
Miller.
he's got that young, like that Human Torch, Iceman, like I'm the young comic relief kid of the group, which I like. I think he's going to bring that levity. And Cyborg, I don't know much about Cyborg at all, but he looks interesting. Because I when I first heard about Cyborg, I'm like, are they just trying to squeeze in another member? But he looks really cool. Like he looks intriguing. He doesn't look forced.
Yeah, he does. I don't know if the movie's going to get a lot of backlash, because he does look a lot of like CGI, like suit wise, when he's in his full mechanical suit. So I don't know if he'll get some backlash for that. But he is a cyborg, so it's hard to create that without. Ultron was a cyborg, so
yeah. You're gonna get CGI in these movies. What do you think of what's going on with Ben Affleck these days? Like, what's the last you've heard? Because isn't he kind of like flaking out on if he's gonna direct or if he's gonna be Batman, or what was the last you heard?
I believe the last thing I really touched on, and I haven't really followed a whole lot of it, just because it's so far out.
Yeah,
like you're talking
exactly.
like the next 2 years. I think the last thing I heard was that he's definitely playing Batman.
I know
but
that.
I don't think he's going to direct it.
Okay, that's the last I
think
heard
he's
of.
going to kind of help write it.
Yeah,
but I don't think he's going to direct it anymore. I think that's just because there's a lot, and I think as long as he gets the movie to go like he wants it to, I don't think he necessarily has to be in the directing chair. Because you are the star of the movie, it is all about Batman, and you're playing Batman. So what you say is pretty much going to roll into how things are developed.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be interested. There's a lot of things that DC has going right now.
Yeah. Well, and they're fresh too. They're coming out fresh. It took them a little bit to get their act together.
Yeah.
But they're something fresh and different, as opposed to like what's the next Marvel adventure. And we love the Marvel ones, but we have no idea what we're getting with these guys. We have no idea. We're looking at like three Justice League characters we haven't seen yet. Between Flash, Aquaman, and Cyborg. So we're getting three of them just like coming out for the first time on screen.
Yeah. For movies, you're definitely getting that.
Mm-hmm.
But Aquaman and Cyborg, they've been around for a while. Like I always say, DC dominates television.
Yes. Oh, yeah. No, they've been killing it on TV.
Like Marvel has started to work with Netflix a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But Netflix is only, subscription-based. It's not free.
Yeah.
But DC, on the other hand, they've developed 1, 2, 3 shows that pretty much dominate network television that's free for everybody. Arrow's amazing. The League of Legends is spectacular. Like, that's like its own little group of Justice League members right there.
Mm-hmm.
And Flash is really good. So, they developed the characters.
Yeah, it's funny because you can redirect, because I got so, like you, I was really attached to Smallville. But when they brought out Henry Cavill's Man of Steel, it wasn't like a wiped away Smallville for me. It's all different iterations and different interpretations. So, but yeah.
I mean, I love Henry Cavill as Superman.
Yeah,
I think he looks like him. I think he's like the reincarnation of like the Christopher Reeve Superman. How like no matter what you saw Christopher Reeve in, he always looked like Superman.
Yes.
Well, that's how Henry Cavill is.
Yeah.
Like, he always looks like Superman. Like, the guy's built like Superman. He looks like Superman. I think he plays it really good. And he's British.
Yeah. I always felt like Brandon Routh was like trying to do a Christopher Reeves impression the whole movie. And they were really just trying to recreate Christopher Reeves like note for note and pass him off as Christopher Reeves. But Henry Cavill, the way they brought in that, they played the alien thing. They brought that up, and it even like his costume, they made it like it was, it's just an older suit of his Kryptonian armor. They basically gave you a science behind everything, and they sold it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be very interesting to see where this stuff goes. So I got something that I was toying with and that's why I was asking about the Ben Affleck thing, because now Christian Bale had said, and now it's too late, it's all water under the bridge. But he had actually said, if they would have asked me, I would have done it, referring to the Batman versus Superman and being the new Batman thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it is Christopher Nolan executive producing the thing. And I to my point of view is, and maybe it's because they lost the Joker and they decided to reboot, but I was like, yeah, even the way the Dark Knight trilogy ended, it would still all have fit together if you said, the Superman issue brought Batman back out of retirement, because we're kind of going with that theory anyway. So I'm asking you is like, what do you think of how Ben Affleck's doing Batman? Like, do you think it would have been better or worse? Like, what do you think of that? Like, if Christopher Nolan's Batman would have been in this whole thing?
I like the Christopher Nolan, Batman trilogy. Like, I remember when Batman Begins came out, I saw it like 4 times.
Yes.
And like the 1 week that it came out, like I was just that excited about Batman movie coming out.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only thing that I don't like is his voice. And like the last movie, he sounds terrible.
You're talking about Ben Affleck's?
I think. No, I'm talking about Christian Bale's.
Oh, because he overdid the old where is she?
Yeah. He like overdoes that.
Yeah.
And like I think Ben Affleck kind of like toned it down a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Like he kind of disguises his voice a little bit. So I think that's pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have been okay with it. I think it does, match up to where, Batman retires and, everything happens with Superman and then he comes out of retirement. And it definitely could have been a possibility. Mm-hmm. But I think the way that they portrayed Batman towards the end, of how like burnt out that he was, how like fallen apart he was.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a good idea to kind of like reboot the idea of Batman. Plus, as dark as Christopher Nolan's Batman was,
mm-hmm.
I think the Ben Affleck one is a little bit darker.
Yeah.
Just from that first initial scene where they introduced the Batman and he's like branding people. And like, that's a lot darker than what Christopher Nolan's Batman was doing.
And you know what? We got to know Christian Bale's character pretty well too. And the more I think back, looking back at it, I can't see Christian Bale's Batman wanting to fight Superman and me buying it. Because it's like, we know you too well, Christian Bale Batman. You know what I'm saying? We don't know Ben Affleck Batman that well, so we can expect anything from him. And maybe that's what helps sell everything that's happening now.
Christopher Nolan's Batman really is a great masterpiece of work. I mean, the first and second films are amazing, and I know the third one kind of get rocky, but to develop 3 movies and to cap them all off from beginning to end, that's a large feat to do. I mean, few films have ever been able to make 3 movies and have all 3 be perfect. I mean, Star Wars, is an example.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people like 2 and 3, but everyone, or 1 and 2 3, but everyone loves Empire Strikes Back.
Yes. Yeah, maybe it's best we just put a bow on that trilogy and make it its own. So, move forward with this new Batman.
I think, yeah, I mean, I like the new Batman. I like Ben Affleck. I think he's doing a great job so far. I like the aspect of what they're doing. I'll be interested a lot more once they get, the Batman solo movie out and running. Because then it'll show you really what they can do with just Batman and those characters, not including, everybody else.
I'm definitely excited for Wonder Woman. And I'm curious if you're right, if Wonder Woman's going to kind of plant a seed of something we're going to see in Justice League. And then I'm hoping we get another Superman movie, another solo Superman movie or something. But I think I'm ready for some more that Superman. He needs another shot back in the ring.
Yeah, I could definitely go for a third Superman movie. Only because there's so much that they could do. I mean, like I said, the talk that like Lex Luthor's character isn't going to pop up until like they do Justice League 2. I would hope that in between, Wonder Woman, Justice League, a solo Batman movie, Aquaman, that they would actually float in the idea of doing Superman first, instead of a Justice League 2, because I could see them doing some more stuff with Superman, kind of like, a solo movie. No, like I like the team up movies, but I really do enjoy just the solo movie with those initial characters. Like, you get Superman and Lex Luthor, you get Batman, you get the Joker. I like those types of movies more than, seeing the team up movies.
Yeah. Let's just let's hope for that second Man of Steel movie. But until then, we got Wonder Woman, we got Justice League, and then pretty soon we're going to be having Aquaman and Flash. So definitely a lot to look forward to from DC. So good times ahead, Kevin. Thanks for being on the show.
You got it, man. Always a pleasure.